In our last lesson, we talked about turning viewers into regulars, acknowledging people, timing, presence, and their safety. This lesson zooms in on the moment before that happens, the moment someone clicks on your stream. So retention is about what makes people stay once they arrive. Not forever, just long enough to decide that they're comfortable. This is the place they want to be, so hopefully forever. But that's the overall outcome we want. So when someone clicks your stream, they're subconsciously asking one question. Do I vibe with these people? Am I gonna fit in, right? Will I fit in here? So they're scanning audio. How's your audio checkout? We talked about this. Is it good? How's your video? How is the pace of the content, right? Your energy level, how you participate with chat. Like we said, how do you handle when you have tough situations? Your funniness, your humor. What kind of humor do you like? So they're not judging your skill level necessarily. I mean, some people might be, but for the most part, they're here just to enjoy the content. They're not here to judge you. And if they are, those are the people we don't want. We talked about those. We talked about those people, right? They're, for the most part, deciding whether or not your stream feels like they can relax in it, which is very crucial. You want everyone to feel relaxed. So that's why they can hang out for the whole stream. So when a viewer pops in for the first time, they're checking what's your audio like. Are you too quiet? Sometimes your audio is great, but you're too quiet compared to your other sources. You want to make sure you're the loudest, not too loud so they're hurting your ears, but you want to be louder than your gameplay. You want to be louder than the people in your Discord. If you play with viewers, if you play with your friends, you want to make sure that you're louder than, like, pretty much that when you're speaking, people can hear you easily. And if you have audio issues, people will just leave. They most of the time don't say, hey, your game's louder than you. They'll just be like, ugh, they'll just leave. And you can do this by, before you go live, especially if you're starting out, press that record button. So start recording, because for the most part, when you play back that video, it should be consistent to how it's going to sound live. So you can always do that. And if you have a good friend, be like, first 5 minutes of the stream, hey, can you make sure you pop in? Let me know if everything sounds good. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. So you want a clear mic. You want to make sure that your audio levels balanced comparatively to the other things. And people won't stay if they're confused, right? So they don't want to come in and have a bunch of questions. They just want to come in and be like, oh, this is fun. Okay, I enjoy this content. Okay, this person seems chill, or whatever vibe that you're going for. I talk about this a lot. You should be talking all the time. And now I do want to put in a little but here. But there are going to be times you're focused. If you're in the middle of a team fight, if you're in the middle of a chase, people understand this. Like, people naturally know when you're probably not looking at chat. So there are going to be moments where you're not blabbering, and that's okay. When I say like you should be constantly talking, I mean, for the most part, every few minutes, if somebody happens to come into chat, you should already be saying something. So natural pauses, totally fine. Focused gameplay, totally fine. And you can be calm. Sometimes I am not talking, and that's easier to kind of get away with when you do some chatters. But in the beginning, I really do recommend talking as much as you can. It's tough. And if you need any help with that, let me know. Slide into the DMs, leave a comment. I'll be more than happy to do my best to help you. Okay, so we had mentioned before that you want to remember things about your viewers, those inside jokes, but make sure that if you are saying something that maybe needs a little bit of backstory, you're elaborating. If it's a new day and what you're discussing happened yesterday, so when your new viewers come in, they don't feel like they walked into a private conversation, right? So there is a way to still bring in new people that don't necessarily know what happened yesterday. Like, oh, yeah, that's so funny. Oh my God. So yesterday we were talking about X, Y, and Z. And there you go. That's another talking moment for you too. Easy conversation, easy talking moment. Make sure that when somebody comes in, they're like, I have no idea what's going on. I feel like I don't belong here because this conversation feels like a private conversation between the streamer and one other person. Okay. So keep that in mind as well. You want to make sure you're inclusive so everybody feels like they can come in and chat. This is something that I'll see some early streamers who start getting a few viewers or lurkers start doing. They might call people out, right? Somebody comes in kind of quietly and you're like, oh, hey, so-and-so, without realizing that maybe they don't want to talk, which is why they didn't say anything upon their arrival. So you have to remember that your retention isn't built on making people feel like they have to talk. It comes from making people feel safe to talk when they want to, right? Making them feel like whenever they want to chime in, that they'll be met with a positive response. So you don't want to put pressure on your viewers. You don't want to call out your lurkers, okay? And you don't want to like accidentally guilt them either. You might be feeling down and demoralized and in the dumpies, but you don't want to say something like, oh, I wish more people would talk. Because now if you have lurkers, you kind of make them feel like shit. Like, oh, so they don't matter because they're not talking. You know what I mean? So as much as you don't mean it like that, what you say could be hurtful to people in your chat. So if you're demoralized, taking a breath, 4 in, 4 out, take a nice deep breath and just keep going. You might be demoralized, but don't bring that into the stream. You know, try to keep spirits high, try to stay positive, and don't accidentally hurt the same people that you're here to entertain and make up community for. So remember, you want to make your stream easy to enter and easy for someone to stay in and be a part of and hang out, okay? You don't want to put a lot of pressure on your viewer. You don't want to make it feel like work for your viewer. It should feel seamless. It should feel effortless for them, right? You do all the hard work so that way they can enjoy the entertainment. And in our next lesson, we're going to talk about engagement, specifically how to engage in a way you can sustain even on days where you feel like bleh.